Hey guys, hey, and welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Shamika. Welcome back to Speak Freely, where we celebrate the freedom of speech. And in today's topic of conversation is probably going to be a touchy one, and I just kind of wanted to get it out of the way so people can know where I stand. So if you wanted to unsubscribe, you can unsubscribe now. So it's going to be about abortion, and it's not really a video about pro-life versus pro-choice. It is a video about pro-choice versus pro-abortion. That is really the topic of discussion here. And just to also be completely transparent about my beliefs, personally, my personal choice is pro-life. That is my personal choice. I don't feel like I have the right to tell any woman what they can or cannot do with their body, and nor do I believe that the government has the right to do that, because I'm leaning towards the libertarian. So yeah, for me personally, pro-life. You do what you want. But what is heartbreaking to see now is that the complete lack of respect and the complete lack of compassion and just the complete lack of tactfulness when it comes to actually discussing and talking about the subject of abortion. Not too long ago, I discovered two hashtags. One is shout your abortion and the other one is salabort. So women are shouting their abortions to the top of their lungs because they're so proud they got to lay on their backs and have a fetus sucked out of trough between their legs. I don't really understand what you're actually accomplishing. I don't know why you need to shout your abortion. What are you celebrating actually? What have you accomplished? Usually people celebrate things that they accomplished, a new job, a promotion, got into the college they wanted to get into, getting married, having kids, I don't know, traveling the world, starting a new business. You know, the only frivolous celebrations we usually have are birthdays because you didn't really accomplish anything. I just feel like it's disrespectful. It's just disrespectful. I feel like the conversation of abortion or the decision of abortion should be a very, very serious decision, and it should be seriously taken into consideration of what you're doing. It shouldn't be something that is sort of like laughed at, just talked about as if you're taking back a pair of Jimmy Choos. Like this could have been a person. This could have been a life. This could have been someone who grew up to do amazing, amazing things. Or it could have been a serial killer. Who knows? It's sad. I feel like when did we cross that line? When did the conversation become so tactless and so disrespectful and so shameless and it's just when did we cross that line? And it's like, and I know like so many feminists will come and be like, oh, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. It never happens. You can go look at hashtag salabort and hashtag shout your abortion right now. They act as if this isn't happening. There are women who are using abortion as a form of birth control. Just to be able to like rub it in people's face. To be like, yeah, I got an abortion, so, and I'm going to get one next week. And I'm going to get one a month from now. And then if I can get 10 this year, then I really feel accomplished with myself. Like, what did you accomplish? People can say that you're celebrating the fact that, you know, women have the right to choose, but you didn't do that. You did nothing. You are benefiting from someone else's hard work. You did absolutely nothing. Like, nothing. When we see what's going on today, and I was going to make a video about the Vegas incident, the shooting, and just the lack of care about other people's lives, the lack of humanity that we have for one another because you just see each other as these labels and stuff like that. I feel like it's slowly trickled into society, and I do feel like it started with abortions because, like, if you think about it, if you can convince people, like, hey, this life means nothing, just clip it off, just crush his skull, just suck the brains out, just snip the neck, just cut it into little pieces, just suck it out of your ovaries or whatever, your womb. If you can convince people to drop their compassion and their humanity and their care for a potential life, then of course it's going to be easier and easier to look at people and not give a shit about their lives, to look at people and to see them as labels, to look at people and just not see them as people and to be okay with them losing their lives. So I feel like we have a lack of compassion in this country and in this world, and I feel like a part of it started with abortion. Because think about it, like, women are celebrating, people are like laughing about this, like Lena Dunham, oh, I wish I would have been able to get an abortion because I would have felt more feminist. Like, again, I'm not about shame. I don't think anyone should be ashamed of their decision to have an abortion, because I think shame is needed in some cases, but mostly shame is a useless emotion and just usually cause more destruction than good. So I'm not saying that anyone should be shamed, and I'm not trying to shame anybody. What I'm saying is, like, I don't understand why we've gone to the place where we can't even respect the conversation about abortion anymore. Like, the idea of, like, partial birth abortion or late term abortion, where the baby is literally partially birthed, and then either the skull is crushed or they stick a sharp object in the back of the partially birthed baby's skull, and they suck the brains out of it, or they snip the spine, or they cut it into little pieces. And this is a fully formed baby. This isn't like some cells that kind of, or something that kind of resembles maybe baby. Like, this is 2 eyes, 2 legs, fingers, a brain, a heart, a baby. I just want to know, like, when did we decide as a society what is labeled a human, and when does someone deserve the right to be protected? When does someone deserve the right to have compassion and be cared for, and someone to speak for them? When did we decide as a society that until you completely pass the walls of your mother's vagina, until then, you deserve no compassion, you deserve no rights, you deserve no protection, you deserve no voice? When did we decide as a society when someone deserves that? If the baby fully leaves the mother's vaginal walls, then all of a sudden it has rights and protection. If someone decided to give birth to a premature baby, and someone came and, like, killed that baby, they would go to jail for murder. Why? Because it fully left the vaginal walls. Is only given the right to their lives until they fully leave the mother's womb, or because if they partially leave, then no, you have every right to kill it, but if it fully leaves, then you can't kill it. It just seems kind of hypocritical. So, like, when did we decide that was the staple? When did we decide that was the line, that was the border, that was the boundary? Like, if the baby fully leaves, and it has rights, but until then the baby has no rights, and it has no compassion, and we can talk about it with the most tactless conversations and hashtags, and celebrating a baby's skull being crushed, or a baby's brains being sucked out of its skull, or a baby's spinal cords being snapped, or a baby's being chopped up into little pieces. We can hashtag celebrate that all day long, but if it fully leaves the mother's vaginal walls, then it has rights. Then we can protect it. Then it deserves compassion. The same women who will celebrate that child's skull being crushed will be the same women who will be outraged if someone killed that child if it fully left the mother's vaginal walls. So when do we decide as a society when someone deserves humanity and when they don't deserve humanity? Is it when a mother chooses to want her child or not want her child? Is it because the mother doesn't want the child, then it deserves no humanity or no respect? The conversation deserved no tactfulness or no empathy? Or is when the mother wants the child, and then it deserves rights, and then it's protected by law? Which one is it? Because does that mean all children in foster care and adoption homes should just be all slaughtered because their parents might not have wanted them? I mean, some parents just could not take care of their children, but some parents might not have wanted them. Parents who, like, leave their kids on the doorsteps of firehouses and hospitals, or the parents who throw their kids in dumpsters. Should we just let them die because their parents didn't want them? So, I mean, what is the mark? What was the benchmark to deciding when someone deserves humanity, when someone deserves compassion, when someone deserves respect, when someone deserves empathy and sympathy? When did we decide as a society what was that line? When we decided to keep pushing that goalpost even further and further away? People can say, well, no, nobody does late term abortions. No one. Yes, they do. Are they the majority? No, but people have late-term abortions. People have partial birth abortions. Some states have banned them, have banned them and made them out and outlawed them, but other states have not. So don't come to me, oh, that doesn't really happen. It happens. So that's the part that I don't understand. Like, when do we decide that when someone deserves respect or not? And again, I am not saying people should not get abortions. I'm just saying that the conversation around abortion, I feel like, deserves a lot more humanity and a lot more tactfulness and a lot more compassion, a lot more empathy, a lot more sympathy. And I do not think people should be pro-abortion. Pro-choice is one thing. When you are in a situation where you just have no other options, I mean, a lot of people say you have options, but I mean, a lot of people who are pro-choice push rape, incest, mother's life in danger, which literally makes less than 1% of performed abortions. So I always say, if you have to push the extremes, that means you have no argument. Majority, overwhelmingly, are women who have abortions out of convenience. That means this baby is inconvenient to my life at this moment. But again, I used to be very strictly pro-life, but I actually try to, again, have empathy and put myself in someone's shoes, and I wouldn't want, the idea of like taking the complete right away from women, I can't stand for that. I can't stand by that, because again, I think people have a right to choose what they want to do with their lives. Other people will argue that no, because yes, that baby is depending on you, but that is not your life. It's your body, but that life is not yours. That is a separate life that is just depending on you to live and to grow. But I don't know, like, so I'm not saying I am I'm anti-pro-choice, because I'm not. I'm just anti-pro-abortion. And in this feel like the conversation, we need to reel it back a little bit. This whole like this way we're treating it like it's nothing, and I really do think it does something to our ability to feel empathy for one another, because I feel like you slowly put this into people's psyche that life isn't really that important, and if I don't want it, or if I don't like it, or you belong to a different tribe than I do, then I don't care if you die. I feel like it's that the abortion slowly corroded our humanity as people in this country and in this world. So I do think there's something to be said that, and other people have argued the same thing. Like, I know people in my life that got multiple abortions in 1 year. You are a grown-up. There is no reason why you should be getting pregnant by accident. I'm sorry, things do happen. Condoms don't always work. Birth control doesn't always work. But it definitely helps a hell of a lot. My mom had, I think, 7 abortions. So, yeah, I think about that sometimes. I think about, like, what kind of relationship I would have had with my siblings. I used to work at a call center, and we had to call different people that were already members of charities, and we had to basically ask them if they wanted to donate more, if they wanted to renew their membership or whatever. And it was really heartbreaking, because a lot of times when we had to call for things that were for like foster care or adoption homes, or children who are living in poverty or low income families, children that lives on Indian reservations who are failing in school, who needs help, who needs food, who needs clothes, things like that. It was sad, because I felt like everybody who was members of those things were all like already really poor, and they were literally like giving their last dollar, but they were still giving. But when it came to asking for money for Planned Parenthood, like taking candy from a baby, like water, like make it rain. It's like I didn't even have to finish my pitch, and they were like giving me their credit card number. They were like, okay, how much this time? 300, 500, 1,000? How much? I got it. I got you. So when it came to asking people for money for children who are already here, the people who were, even the members were the people who weren't the 1%. They weren't the rich ones. They were the ones who were already suffering, who were willing to give their last dollar. And then if you did happen to call someone who was wealthy, they didn't want to donate or wanted to cancel their membership. But when it came to donating money to and I know Planned Parenthood does more than abortions, but that's kind of what they're known for. When it comes to donating to a organization that kills off babies, then it was like nothing to get money from them. And so again, I just feel like it's something that's like, it kind of corroded our humanity. It kind of like took a bit of our empathy away. Like, it's getting worse and worse and worse. And even with technology, I read a article saying that, you know, looking at your phones all day and not making eye contact, because one of the ways you build up empathy is making eye contact and making connections with people. And since people are on their phones all day, especially like the younger generation, they can literally be across away from their friends and their eyeballs are on their phones. And so they're losing empathy. They're not building up that empathy. So it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So, and I really do think that has something to do with it. Because, like, again, if you could convince someone that it's okay to crush a baby's skull, if you could convince someone that it's okay to cut up it in pieces, a fully developed child, and then the only reason why that child does not deserve rights because it's what? A couple of months behind where it could have been maybe viable, and it didn't fully move, like leave the mother's vaginal walls, and the mother didn't want it, so it's fine. Like, I'm sorry, like, that's weird to me. The same women who scream, you know, girls' rights are okay with millions of girls being chopped up in tiny little pieces. I'm like, it's weird. Again, I'm gonna say it again because I know people are gonna accuse me of it. I do not want the pro-choice law to be overturned. I don't want that, because I think that I don't think it's going to stop abortions. Actually, I don't want that. I think it should be way more regulated, and I am very pro. We can totally get rid of partial birth abortion and late term abortions, but I'm not saying that I want to get rid of abortion laws, because I don't think that will stop abortions. I'm just saying that, first of all, get rid of late term abortion. Second of all, we need to stop and rethink as a society what this has done to our own humanity and our own level of empathy for one another. And third of all, can we please respect the conversation of abortion a little bit more? Come on, let's bring it back together as a human race and have a little bit more empathy and compassion for the situation at hand. Because no one wins here, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think anybody wins in this situation. Again, I am not trying to guilt nobody. I am not trying to shame anybody. I don't believe in either of those two emotions. I think that they are a waste of time, and they usually do more harm than good. So I'm not trying to do that, and I'm definitely not saying that I'm against the abortion law. I'm against partial birth abortions and like term abortions, and I'm against the way that we're treating the conversation as a whole, as like it's a trip to the carnival or something, because it's not. Anyway, I'm done with this conversation. If you're still there and you still don't hate me, please like this video if you want to like it. Share it out to the world and to the universe and to beyond, so YouTube doesn't suffocate my channel. And if you have any comments, you can feel free to disagree with me all you want. If you disagree with me, that is completely totally fine. I am open to conversation. I am open to debate, and I am open to being wrong. If I got something wrong, let me know. If you agree with me and you see that this is not a laughing matter, so let's stop pretending it is. Put it in a comment in the comment section below. Yeah, if you want to continue to have conversations like this, please subscribe, and if you subscribe, hit the bell to get the notifications when I do upload. And thank you from Speak Freely, and peace.
I was ready to slow down before you came round. I was heading for a small disaster before you came round. I was ready to